Hello guys, this is Pedram Raufi and you're watching the daily markets review. And during this program we are going to go through the stock market indexes, the main Forex pairs, and we are going to actually check the technical charts of gold, oil and the other commodity as well. Don't forget, at the end of the program we are going to check the most famous cryptocurrencies, Ethereum and Bitcoin price action. And as well, we're going to check some of the other cryptocurrency pairs which we just add to our MT4 and MT5 system of our broker. And I'm going to start today's review from maybe the most important news of the day and yesterday's day, which is about the really hawkish statement of Federal Reserve System, which we observed actually with the start of the American session of yesterday. And it is about the reducing of the balance sheet, which means that there would be less money on the markets, the liquidity, than before. It means that they are going to tighten the monetary policy of the United States. And this factor is the main factor which actually made the stock market indexes of S&P 500 and Dow Jones to make some correctional downward impulse, which we actually observed. And this is the movement which happened, this is the correctional movement which happened from yesterday. And if you actually remember, we really worked too much with divergence and convergence. We had some mild technical divergence on the chart, on the 4-hour chart of S&P 500, which have actually gave us the signal of the reversal, which now we are observing. With Dow Jones situation, it's kind of the same, but actually this correctional movement for Dow Jones is not that much, doesn't look that much horrible as we see on S&P 500. As well, here we have a upward trend which is continuing, and Dow Jones actually was retesting the previous resistance range before the breakthrough of which the trend would be upward. So optimism is not going anywhere, and the thing that is happening now is just a correctional movement, really impulsive correctional movement, and it's kind of stopping. This movement could continue a little bit, but it's mostly stopping. It means that the range which we are now observing, the resistance range of 36,000, 36,200 or $35,800 of Dow Jones would be the range after the retest of which we are going to continue the upward movement, the moderate upward movement, which could continue during this year, during the first half of this year actually, on the stock markets. And due to the situation which we have on the S&P 500 here, the main support which we always talked about is 4,500, 4,700, which is now retesting. But this range which is here is the main support range during the movement inside of which we should know that price is just consolidating. It's not going to actually fail too much, but here we could have some consolidational movement during which we can actually continue our speculative trading if you are not talking about investing. So this was the main news of today's day, and let's see what kind of economic calendar we have for today. We have some important releases from Britain, which already have released, and they were positive. And further, we are going to have the releases from United States of America. Let's check the time. Should be by the Greenwich time, and let's check in which time. 13:30 initial jobless claims, which is a really important release. And if you know, the Federal Reserve System said that the main reason they are going to tighten the monetary policy is that the job market is kind of getting rising again. It's kind of already, there's no problem with job market, with jobs. There's no problem, and actually it's kind of renewing. It's kind of turning back. Jobs are turning back to the market, and that was the main reason why they are going to tighten the monetary policy, and the main reason why they actually talked about something like this. They gave this kind of statement. Further, we are going to have at 3 o'clock, we're going to have ISM non-manufacturing PMI from United States, which is unfortunately, the prognosis here are not so good. Before getting to the Forex pairs, we are going to check the dollars index price. And due to the daily chart of dollar price index, the consolidational movement is continuing. There was some resistance and some supports inside of which price now is kind of moving. And due to the daily chart, due to the long-term chart, here we have 96.40, or let's say 96.50, which is a middle level between 97 and 95, 97 and 96. 96.50 is the main resistance which we have. So any strengthening of dollar above this level in the midterm would mean that dollar is going to rise further. But here, these three candles are showing us that price is really under the pressure. And even yesterday's statement didn't actually leave any kind of huge or strong impact on dollar prices. So the situation here is really conservative, and let's say that the main levels on which we have to pay attention is the resistance of 96.50, and mainly the retest of this level, especially the impulsive retest of this level on the 4-hour chart or 1-hour chart with one abnormal candle could mean that prices are going to reverse from this level. And of course, this kind of scenario would mean that stock market indexes are going to continue the upward movement. So let's go through the Forex pairs due to the analysis which we had about stock market and dollar prices. Euro USD, Pound USD, Australian dollar to United States dollar, and New Zealand dollar to United States dollar. Mainly we actually just check these four pairs together because their movement's kind of the same, similar. And let's see what's going on with Euro. Euro already retest the psychological level of 1.13, which means that maybe we are now located in a reversal. We could get some reversal, and we could get further. We could actually get strengthened above this level and continue the upward movement. This is the main positive about which we are talking about, which we were talking, and now we're talking. So the main positive, which remain on the stock market despite the Federal Reserve System statements. So here, maybe we are going to have some reversal from this level, and the continuation of upward movement here, mainly during the American session, even today's American session, is more obvious. Due to the pound price action, we had the retest of psychological level of 1.35, and it actually caused a reversal as well. So this reversal could actually continues to 1.3520, 1.3540. So there is a probability of continuation of this movement. And during today's European session, during today's American session, so we have to pay attention that we have some potential of continuation of this upward movement, which we have now. What would happen next? What would happen after the retest of local resistance or local target levels of pound, of euro? That's the next question. But for today, for now, for day trading, there's a more potential of continuing. There's a more potential of reversal trend continuing, counter trend continuance. Australian dollar to US dollar made some really conservative upward reversal, and we had the breakthrough of the local minimum of the main support here, and kind of we had the breakthrough of some mirror level, which is here. Let me just show it to you. It's about 0.7180, which is kind of a mirror level, which have been breakthrough. So the breakthrough of this level would mean that prices could really get stuck under this level and continue the downward movement. But due to the impulsiveness of this retest, I cannot say that in the midterm they're going to continue this downward movement. So Australian dollar and as well New Zealand dollar could mainly in the midterm reverse from the local supports which they are now retesting. Here for New Zealand dollar is actually a local support, which is now retesting really impulsively. But there's more likely probability of next reversal and the continuation of upward movement anyway. So next we have the commodity price action and analysis of gold prices, silver prices, platinum and palladium, which are the commodity. And as you know, these are risk assets. These are the assets, the price of which actually rise in the case of something wrong, when something wrong is going on with stock market. For example, we have some crisis, we have some the other problems because of which investors would kind of fix their positions on the stock market, and this could cause some downward movement of indexes. And in the other way, it have to help the gold and the price of commodity like gold, silver, and risk assets to rise. But what is going on with gold prices is really not looks like that. And mainly, we can actually find more opposite correlation between gold prices and dollar prices than gold prices and stock market indexes prices. So here we have to say that mainly the continuation of dollar's upward movement, moderate, lame, I don't know, it's going to continue anyway because of the statements, because of the Federal Reserve System statements, because of the hawkish mood of Federal Reserve System. And the main level which is retesting now, really impulsively, 1,800, under which we now are located, could be the real signal of the continuation of consolidation movement or downward movement of gold. I don't want to actually be any kind of pessimistic about gold prices because mainly at long term gold is kind of rising. If we actually pay attention on the channel which is visible on the 4-hour chart, on the daily chart. But now the thing that's happening with gold is a realistic picture of how inflation and how the reduction of inflation could really cause an impact on the gold prices, which is really negative. When Federal Reserve System talk about monetary policy tightening, which means that the liquidity of dollars is going to get less and the price of dollars is going to get higher. And of course, in this case, gold is really going to move deeper. Yes, there is a range here. There is a mirror range which is going to get retested, and prices of gold is actually retesting this range. So the continuance of downward movement after this kind of impulsive downward movements is not really reliable to rely on. It's not really possible to rely on. So we have to mainly here say that the continuation of consolidational movement is more likely for this situation. For gold prices, the continuation of some kind of consolidational movement between 1,810 and 1,780. So we are going to have some range between which the price of gold could really continue its movement. 1,810, 1,790 or 80 is actually the main support, which doesn't have to get breakthrough, and we have to be sure that price after the retest of this range is going to reverse, because the pressure of prices to these levels, the next pressure or the shrinking of volatility near to this level could mean that prices are getting squeezed to these levels, and for midterm it could mean that gold is going to fall really hardly. But the main thing is that the dollar price's upward movement is going to be moderate, and gold is already made its own downward potential. It's already finished the downward movement potential. So we cannot say that for midterm we could maybe sell and continue to sell gold here. The main thing that we can say is that gold is going to stop this downward movement after some 500 or 600 points. So after 500 or 600 points, maybe gold is going to really stop this downward movement and continue some consolidational movement, and after that maybe make some impulsive retest, speculative retest of 1,890, and after that start to rise further or reverse. So this kind of scenario for gold and for all of the other commodities is more likely. What is going on with silver prices? Kind of the same. And here we have some support, which is now retesting. We had a really shrink volatility during the retest of this level. And this level, which is 22 actually, 2220, 2220, is now retesting, is going to get retest. The 22 is going to get retest as well. But the main factor here is the impulsiveness of downward movement. So being sure about the continuation of this movement only because of some statements, the potential of downward movement here is already finished. So here we need to just get ready for some consolidational movement and get into 5-minute chart, 15-minute chart to make some solution for our daily tradings. Because for midterm traders now on the market, maybe they have to kind of a little bit wait, because market is kind of going through consolidation. It's already actually lost the potential of its own movement, and now the consolidational phase, which is returning to the market, is the main thing on which we have to concentrate. Platinum and palladium, they show us the probability of this reverse or of this reversal movement better than gold and silver, because they're showing us the retest of a really important support. For example, for palladium and for platinum, here we have a really important level, which is retesting 960, 958 maximum, and after the retest of this level, mainly the price is going to reverse. The probability of price reversal is really high after the retest of this kind of levels. And of course, the palladium showing us that here we have some potential of downward movement to 1,800, 1,780. But after the retest of this level, after the retest of this support which we have here, especially if it's going to be impulsive, in this case, we would be really sure, we could be really sure about the next reversal and the continuation of upward movement, or at least the consolidational movement. After which, price is going to make some speculative downward impulse and then start to hike again. So this scenario is the most likely scenario which I can see in the short term, mid term, and the continuation of it during the today's day, 3 days, or 5 or 6 days. So next, we are going to go through the risk assets, risk currencies of Swiss franc and Japanese yen to United States dollar, mainly dollar to Japanese yen and Swiss franc. And the stop of upward movement here is really mean that the upward movement of dollar here on the 15-minute chart is really moderate, and it's not going to be really sharp. And now we have some consolidational movement, now we have some correctional movement, which is going to stop anyway, and this main support which we have here, in the case of its breakthrough, we could have some potential of downward movement for yen, 115, let's say 50, and 115.40 is the main support which could really get retested in the near future. So the potential of retest of this level is high. But is dollar going to go deeper or fall further? I'm not really sure about it. And the United States dollar to Swiss franc is showing us that the potential of downward movement here is high as well. But at least the retest of 0.9175, 0.9165 is the point after which we are going to reverse mainly if we retest the levels impulsively. And here, as we see, the 50 days moving average, simple moving average, is getting really, there's a really long distance between the fast moving average and the slow moving average of the exponential 200 days yearly moving average. So this kind of distancing and this kind of when we have a bigger distance between these two lines, this actually means that prices are going to reverse. It means that price is going to get a little bit lower. Maybe after some stop of upward movement, it's going to get a little bit lower. So here we have the potential of continuation of downward movement, but it's going to stop mainly after the retest of this level. If the downward movement happens in a momentum, in a one moment, with an impulse. And further, we have the technical analysis of WTI prices, which continue to rise. And as you see, we have some divergence. This divergence is continuing to spread. So the spread of this divergence is mainly could mean that prices would make some reversal, but not now. And if the divergence picture ruins, there won't be any reversal. So here the main thing that we can say is some upward impulse to the psychological level of 800, and after that, after the impulsive upward movement and the retest of $80, we are going to have some reversal, some stop of the upward movement, and next we are going to have reversal. And USD dollar to Canadian dollar, as you know, the Canadian dollar rises when oil price rises, and this kind of rises, of course, the rise of Canadian dollar cause the downward movement of this pair of USD dollar to Canadian dollar. So when oil prices rise, actually, this pair always fall if dollar fall, if USD dollar fall. And the main reason is that when oil actually rises, the USD dollar price falls. Here we have some potential of the continuation of downward movements. 1.2780, 1.2760, they could get retest, and the impulsiveness of this movement could really mean that after the retest of these levels, we could have some consolidational movement. We could have some could have a stop of downward movement, and next we're going to reverse. So we are now, for now, we're waiting for the retest of 1.2780, 1.2760. And Euro Canadian dollar as well, showing us that divergence. We have some divergence here, and we have some spreading of the volatility. We have some expansion of volatility, which means that situation could be reversal in the near future. But this scenario would mean that oil prices is going to rise. It's going to rise further than 800. But the main range of oil prices during this year is 70 to 80, or maybe 75 to 85. So due to these factors, you can actually guess the movement or the midterm movement of different pairs, even like euro to Canadian dollar or dollar USD dollar to Canadian dollar. And we are going to check the Bitcoin prices and Ethereum prices, go through some of the other important and famous pairs and cryptocurrencies, altcoins, which we have further. So what is going to go with Bitcoin? As we said from previous times, Bitcoin, unfortunately, is enchanted and enchanted to lose positions, enchanted to fall further. As we said from previous time, as we actually observe this, let me show you, this divergence here, which we had. Due to all of these factors, which we actually found during previous weeks, programs, during previous times, and previous reviews, the price of Bitcoin actually falls. And yesterday's movement, I mean, these impulsive movements, which actually mean that price is going to stop downward movement, caused the retest of 45,000 and 43,000. And the further downward movement under 43,000 is not possible, I think, for nearest future. So here we could really have some reversal, maybe for a while, some moderate upward, really mild, moderate upward movement here, which just make you to not lose much if you are a buyer. But the main reversal could happen only if price gets above 45, 47. 45, 47,000 are the main levels above which we could say that Bitcoin is already renewing the upward movement and is going to grow further. But here, for now, we could really get some stop of downward movement here and now, because of the retest of main target supports of 43 and 45. We are going to have some consolidation. We are going to have some mild reversal. Maybe, I actually wanted to show you this kind of mild convergence, which we are going to have here. Mild convergence, which could be actually a little bit not realistic, but it kind of exists and it could even spread further. There is a potential of downward movement for Bitcoin to 4,000 even, but mostly after some sessions, after today's American session, or the tomorrow's European session, Bitcoin mainly is going to a little bit strengthen. So the strengthening could really happen now, before the test of 4,000, even after the test of 4,000. But the main thing that I can see here is that speculative trading and speculativeness of the trading of Bitcoin maybe won't give the sellers, won't give the bears the opportunity to touch 4,000. I'm not really sure about the retest of 4,000 in the near future. In the near future, I think that prices are going to make some reversal here, and the continuation of some moderate upward movement, which make most of the little players to think that, oh, market is getting bullish, but it would be a lie. So the main thing that I can say here is that prices mainly are going to consolidate further. And the retest of 4,000 is something that maybe won't happen in the near future. So pay attention on this. And Ethereum, really impulsive breakthrough. And the continuation of downward movement under 3,800. So what we could have next? 3,300, 3,200 now is retesting. Let's say 3,200 and the psychological level of 3,000 are the main supports which we have. And believe me, the consolidation above these levels could be realistic. So if you are even a seller, maybe it's better to wait a little bit, because the speculation on the markets mainly could really cause some due to the convergences which we have in the really low charts, on the low scale charts. The situation here could be really speculative. So sellers won't touch the main supports which they are going to, they are thinking that they are going to touch. For example, 3,000 for Ethereum and 40,000 for Bitcoin. So here, mostly be careful. Maybe prices are going to make some consolidation, are going to make some moderate upward movement, are going to make some movements which make you sellers to wait a little bit. So don't forget about it. What's going to happen? What's going on with Dogecoin? Dogecoin is already showing us that the reversal is realistic. The reversal could really happen. Dogecoin's 4-hour chart is showing us a really interesting retest and false breakthrough of the support. And I think Dogecoin as a coin which have made on the platform of Ethereum, and Ethereum is the most less liquid main cryptocurrency of the world. I can say that here we are actually looking through the probability of the reversal now. But this reversal won't make bulls to get so much from the market. It's going to be a really moderate and lame upward movement, which could continue, and after that, the speculative downward impulse could really cut you from the market and just kill all the bulls, which just return to the market, for example, today, or they are going to return tomorrow or after tomorrow. So pay attention here. Is a reversal happening? Is some consolidational movement probability which could really go on, which really could goes on in the future. But after that, the continuation of a bearish market is more probable. Even after that is more probable. So Chainlink showing us probability of the reversal here, mainly $24 is retesting, was a really good support after the test of which we are already have some reversal. So here the potential of retest of 25 or 26 is available as well. This impulsive movement, this downward impulsive movement shows us that the consolidational movement after could really continue, but mainly it would be a moderate upward movement. So next targets are 25, 26. Polka dot as well, really beautiful sign of a false breakthrough. And look, the main target here would be this support under which we are now located, $26.50, $26.50. If we get above this level, market is going to be bullish. If we stuck further under this level, market is going to be bearish. So Litecoin prices showing us this reversal as well, but unfortunately Litecoin is really located under the main, technically under the main supports, under the main local supports. And here the potential downward movement for Litecoin is really high. It's showing us that 120 is the nearest psychological level that could really get retest in the near future. So pay attention. Here we could have some widening, some expansion of volatility, but next after that, the reversal is available. The moderate upward movement is available. And after that, after the scenario, there would be the continuation of downward movement. Ripple prices as well showing us that there is a probability of reversal, but we have some potential of continuation of downward movement. And it's really, really low. I don't really think that you now guys, even scalpers, have any chances to use this downward potential, which we are getting here, because it could be really wildly speculative. EOS as well. Here the price chart is showing us that the price is retesting a really far support, and we had some already we have a really impulsive false breakthrough of this level, which means that reversal is really possible. But this reversal, as I said, is going to continue by moderate upward movement, after which we are going to go deeper. Cardano retesting, really conservative retest of a local support. And I think here we have some potential of downward movement to 1.18, 1.1750, and believe me, sooner or later we are going to have some consolidation movement here. So the consolidation which could be here, the moderate upward movement which we hear, is the main scenario for Cardano as well. But after that, the continuation of downward movement is more realistic than any upward movement. And Stellar showing us that prices have been reversed already, and maybe here there won't be any chances for bulls either, and for sellers as well. The main supports here, which is retesting, is 0.26, 0.2620. I think 0.26 would be better, would be further. So until we are above this level, market would be bullish. But pay attention, if the amplitude is going to get lower above this level, that won't be really mean that prices are going to rise further. So here, the support which we have is 26, and the resistance which we have is 27 and 27.50. And mainly we are not really going to get break through the main local resistance. I think that further downward movement here is more realistic. Thank you guys that you watched this video. Don't forget that we have a very interesting materials on our main site, on our official site, which you could check on the under this video. We have different links and different links of our other resources we could use, and we have some sell-offs which are related to New Year's event. Because of that, don't forget, mostly you have to check our main site and just check our sell sell-off of different instruments, different lessons, different courses which we have. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and ring the bell so you won't miss any program and any review further. Till next time, have good tradings and bye-bye.